Well, good morning. Welcome back to my workbench. Today in the bench, I have this Husqvarna 345 chainsaw. The customer says that he can't get it started. Come on over here and let's see if we can fix this thing up. Well, here we are with a Husqvarna 345 and a hot coffee. The customer says that he just can't get this thing started. A quick walk around, looking at the plastics, the handles, the hardware, looking for anything broken or missing. The plastics all look good. Chain brake works. Looks like a newer Oregon bar. And that's an Oregon chain that looks very new as well. I don't see any missing hardware. Nothing really stands out. Let's get the barn chain off it. This is a 45cc chainsaw made in Sweden. That is an outboard clutch. So there's a little bit of greenish colored fuel in there with a little bit of dirt in it. I don't see any water in it. I don't know how fresh it is. Everybody who drops a chainsaw off says that the fuel in it, they just put in it and they just bought it. So it's always fresh. So I'm told. The tank is clean inside. The fuel line looks good. The fuel filter looks new. It's clean and white. I guess I will pour his fuel back in and we'll take it outside and try to start it under the same conditions he was trying to start it. I don't want to change anything just yet. I'll catch most of that dirt in the bottom of this cup. I don't know if that's enough fuel. I don't know if the fuel filter is going to be popping up out of that little bit, so I better put some more fuel in it. Just enough because there's a pretty good chance we'll be dumping that fuel back out of it. There's lots of bar oil in it. So if it does run, we'll be able to see if it's oiling or not. Okay, so we've got fuel in it, bar and chain off. Let's pop outside with this thing, see if it'll start for us. I have people drop saws off all the time, say they can't start them. I walk outside and start them. Let's go find out. Catch you outside. What's your problem? Sometimes a saw will start and run okay cold, and as it gets warm, the problems start to come out. Something's wrong here. Let's go find out what. At first, it started okay, and it seemed to run okay, but as it got warm, it got worse. That's pretty typical. It wasn't running out of fuel. It had lots of fuel in it. We'll fish that fuel filter out of there. Hook up my pressure vac tester, and we're going to test the fuel line and the carb at 10 psi, which it holds. I don't know if that's an OEM filter or aftermarket. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about these, but I plan on learning lots about these. I've shown you lots of Stihl stuff, and I hope to show you lots of Husqvarna stuff, but I'll be learning as I go. So I'm not really sure, but I'll just put it back on for now, and we'll keep digging. Okay, let's peel back some more layers. This top cover held on by 3 screws. And the air filter, well, it says twist to the left. I don't think I've actually worked on a 345 before. All that says on it is China. I don't know if that's OEM or aftermarket. And that's an NGK spark plug. It's not in terrible condition. I'll grab my camera and we'll go down the spark plug hole. We're seeing a bunch of carbon on top of the piston. So there's nothing inside that piston and cylinder making the saw run like it does. Let's put his spark plug back in. I'll just make sure it's gapped properly, which it is. I don't think his spark plug is causing his problem. I almost forgot. Let's do a compression test. And we have just a hair over 150 pounds of compression. Compression isn't the reason why this thing runs like this. And now I'll put his spark plug back in. I need to get the carburetor off this thing. I want to pressure vac test this saw. Okay, I think we should first of all get that throttle rod off of there. Get that little wire out of the way. Let's disconnect our fuel line off the carb. And there's the carb off. Let's loosen that muffler. I've just loosened it. I'm going to slip this rubber down in behind it and tighten it back up. I'm going to use its 2 screws that were holding the carb on and this steel tool, and I'm going to block the intake and the impulse. Okay, that leaves us with that decompression valve. Let's pull that decompression valve out of there. And we'll plug it up with this. Let's pressure vac test this thing. Let's break out the cheap pressure vac tester from Amazon. $30. The piston is at bottom dead center. And we're going to pull vacuum first, looking to hold half a bar. I should not be losing vacuum when I do that. Did you see that? All right, I'm going to go back to half a bar again. So when I move the clutch up and down, we lose vacuum. Crank seals, crank bearings. Let's go over to pressure. And there's half a bar. Now it may hold pressure, but not hold vacuum. Now we're back to half a bar of vacuum. I'm just going to Play with the clutch a little bit. And look at that. Gone. It's probably our running issue. So this is my cheap tool from Amazon. Let me grab my expensive tool and we'll just confirm this twice. Here's my pressure vac tester from Stihl. I do like this hose a lot better than the hose that came on the one from Amazon. It's easier to use. And you can order just this hose piece from Stihl. So I may do that. Other than that, I do like that other tester. So let's hook up to this again and just double check. So we are on vacuum. And half a bar. I like to get the needle just past a line, and then it's really easy to tell if it moves. You can see it slowly moving. I haven't touched the saw with my hand yet. But vacuum is very slowly dropping. And this tester does the exact same thing the other tester does. When I move that clutch around with my hand, we lose all vacuum. I can hear something and feel something. I'm assuming it's a crank bearing. Now, is this saw a clamshell design? That's all plastic. I thought this was kind of like a pro saw, but I don't actually know. That noise shouldn't be there. Crankshaft, bearings, I don't know exactly what's going on. I just gave the customer a quick call and he said, junk this thing. It's time for a new saw. He had no interest in fixing this or spending much money on this. I think he's had it for quite a while. I'm not saying the saw is not fixable, but the customer has no interest in fixing it. So this video has went from a fix-it video to now an autopsy video. Let's take this thing apart and find out what went wrong. I'm going to get all my pressure vac tools off of it and we'll get started. So this very expensive tool from Stihl and this very cheap tool from Amazon did the exact same thing on this chainsaw. All my tools are off of this thing. Let's start with taking this handle off. Got to find the right tools here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every time a chainsaw hits my bench, you never know how it's going to go. Could be fixed, could be a teardown, a rebuild, or it could just be an autopsy. Ivy just popped a squat on my shop floor. I think you call that the conductor. Lots of dirt. Oh, there's the tag. I couldn't see it before. The year might be in there somewhere. Is it a 2000? 2003 maybe? I'm not sure. And there's the coil. You know, what better way to become familiar with a chainsaw than to tear it completely apart? I have no experience with this model, but by the time I'm done this, I'm going to have a much better idea how it comes apart and how it goes back together. Just one thing at a time. Yeah, we're starting to get somewhere here. Try to get the tank off this thing. Tank off. This saw looked pretty clean from the outside, but it is filthy underneath of everything. Years of buildup. What a mess. That's a special little tool from Husqvarna. I don't know the part number, and I don't think it was expensive. There's our needle bearing, oil driver, felling spike. Let's get the bar oil out of this thing before I make a even bigger mess. There's the tensioner. It fell out. There, we'll let that contraption just rest there for a minute. If Tyler's seen me doing this, he would take my tools away. Uh-oh, here he comes. No accidents. Everything's fine. This old workbench has seen a lot of autopsies. Can we still hear clicking? Yes, we can. Okay. Look at the staining on that piston. This thing probably had some really bad fuel ran through it. One piston ring. Lots of carbon. The connecting rod looks good. The color is good. There's no up and down play in it. Are the bearing and crank seal one?
Yes, and they're $50 each.
Tyler's just looking up a parts listing for this saw right now, and you say the crank seal and bearing are one. So you can't just pop a new crank seal in it. If you have a leaking crank seal, you have to tear this whole saw apart. That bearing, no good. What is that little piece of metal on there for? Husqvarna calls that a plate. I don't know what the purpose of the plate is. Someone who knows what that is can tell me in the comments. All right, so we got a bad bearing. That bearing was much quieter. Clutch side crank bearing. When this saw was hot, he couldn't get it started. He dropped it off here. I could get it started cold, and as it got hot, you could see outside, it wouldn't run. Imagine if I just threw a new carb on this or put a new spark plug in it. I'd waste all day throwing parts at it. This thing would never run properly.
You took it all apart?
I took it all apart. Was I not supposed to?
He said it was okay?
Yeah, he said go ahead.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, it's just here for a carb adjustment.
Oh, I thought this was a pro saw.
It is not a pro saw.
What the heck is this thing? I thought that...
I think this is the equivalent of a Stihl MS250. 45cc. Would you rebuild this saw? Would you tear it apart to replace the bearings and crank seals? Well, we might as well dissect this carb while we're at it. Looks like he was running some poopy fuel through it. The metering diaphragm is not in great condition. The metering lever was set correctly. What saws does this saw share parts with?
A lot of parts with a 340.
340.
And then quite a few parts with a 346 XP.
346 XP, 350.
351.
353. Well, that's a good part saw to have. It shares parts with quite a few others. Well, my autopsy report will read evidence that crappy fuel has ran through this thing, leaking crank seal, bad crank bearing. It happens. Sometimes a chainsaw comes in here for a simple service, a tune-up, an adjustment. It just won't run right, and it ends up in pieces all over my workbench. As I said earlier, it's not the saw isn't fixable, it's that the customer doesn't want to fix it. He doesn't want to spend any money on it. He just wants a brand new chainsaw. So I may fix this saw, not today. I'm going to box it up, send it out back, and if we decide to circle back to it, I know right where it'll be sitting. So I guess that's it for the Husqvarna 345 that won't start. I've got a whole bunch of saws in lineup, including an 026 that's been sitting for years, an MS440 that won't start hot, and a Poulan that has had every single part replaced and still won't run. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.